On this episode of Exactly How, we're going to show you how to locate the best probate deals, how to figure out exactly who to talk to, and how to make a killing investing in probate. No pun intended. On this episode of Exactly How.
You're listening to the Exactly How podcast, where you'll hear the underground, closely guarded wealth-building secrets of successful people around the globe. Discover exactly how to improve your mental, physical, and financial health. Feel better, make more money, live, give, and prosper in today's exciting, fast-paced world filled with opportunity for those who know exactly how.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Connected Investors podcast and YouTube show, Exactly How. During this episode, you're going to discover exactly how to invest in probate properties. For those of you who are new, my name is Ross Hamilton, today's host and CEO of ConnectedInvestors.com, the real estate investors marketplace and community. And today we have the privilege to learn from a man who's not only an expert in probate investing, but he completed over 100 real estate transactions in 30 days. Talk about changing your life in a month. Prior to his career in real estate, he worked in the U.S. Air Force. He was a firefighter, a stockbroker, accountant, lawyer. Wow, that's a whole lot of stuff. But all of that changed in 1991 after the birth of his first child. Having that kid, man, you reprioritize everything when you have a kid. I describe our guest as a very straight shooter. So I'd like to introduce you to the one, the only, James. James, how are you?
Good, Ross. Hi, everyone. Thanks for that great introduction. I guess you dated me a little bit, though.
1991. Let me think. I was born in 82, so I was 9 years old? What was I doing at 9? I was living in New York at the time.
There you go. There you go.
So interesting background there. If you're listening to this in the podcast, go to YouTube if you can and search for Connected Investors podcast. This will pop right up. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. You kind of get more out of each episode. But tell me about what's in the background there.
Well, I'm up in my cabin in New Hampshire. My family likes that frozen white stuff, which I have no use for. I grew up in South Florida. So I let them go do their thing, and I sit here in my cabin office and I do deals.
Hey, there you go, man. That's what's great about today's world. You can literally flip properties from anywhere. You can be on vacation in, Vermont, California, Hawaii, Bali, and you can be flipping deals just with your phone. And it's real estate wasn't like this back in the day. You used to have to be there. You don't have to be there anymore.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of what we cover on the Exactly How podcast. So make sure to watch this episode all the way to the end. We do some special stuff toward the end here and binge out on the channel. James, I get people that they text me. They actually don't text me, but they hit our YouTube channel up all the time. It goes right to my phone like a text. And they're like, Ross, I've been binging out on all these episodes. It's fantastic. So it's, if you're going to be on social media, if you're going to be on YouTube, watch the Exactly How podcast. So again, thanks so much for teaching us how to invest in probate properties. Before we dive into that, you contribute a lot of your success to a habit of observation. Why do you think that's played such a big role in your success?
Well, I think it's kind of a superpower. We hear those things about right now with all the Marvel stuff going on and everything, but it really is a superpower because I think you can glean a lot by just watching and observing things. I'm actually in the middle of writing a book called Observations from a Park Bench. And I learned this when I was a stockbroker for a brief stint. I noticed certain trends that, you see these kids walk by and they'd have the new pair of jeans on, and I'd be like, okay, what company is that from? And you'd find out, and a lot of times they were just really small startup companies that kind of caught fire with the youth. And I'm like, that's something to invest in.
So you're on the park bench and you're like, excuse me, little kids. Come
Well,
over here, man. May I see the tag on your pants?
Yeah, I know. I know that sounds kind of creepy, doesn't it? But no, but no, the power of observation. Yeah. Take for instance what's happening right now in I always tell people when I speak at area clubs and so forth, they'll say, well, what is the one key to success? And I say, well, where everybody else is going, you go in the opposite direction. Yeah. And they're like, huh? I said, yeah, you go where they ain't fishing. I had a mentor when I was a kid, 17, 18 years old, before I went in the Air Force. And he didn't get past the 5th grade, but he was a wealth of knowledge. And he used to always say to me, Jim, you go where they ain't fishing. And I'm like, okay. So it really didn't mean much to me then. But throughout the years, when I was going through the Air Force, I said, I know exactly what he means. When everybody's going to one fishing hole, you should go down to the fishing hole down that you have by yourself, and who knows what you may catch.
Yeah. So just watching what the masses are doing, understanding what's happening in your town. On a previous podcast, someone gave a fantastic tip to where basically you set up a Google notification for your city name approves. So I'm in Wilmington, North Carolina. So Wilmington, North Carolina approves. And then I get these Google notes anytime there's a new road going in, anytime there's a new convention center going in, and I get to kind of understand what's happening. I get to observe what's happening in the market. So it's nice. So sometimes you get 2 ears, 1 mouth. Sitting back and relaxing and just watching is important. Well, great. Thanks for sharing that.
No, my pleasure.
Yeah. And for everyone that's new, what makes the Exactly How Financial Freedom podcast unique is every show comes with a detailed action plan, a blueprint that we pull out of our guest's head to help you implement exactly what we're covering here. So if you're listening to this on a podcast, if you're driving, if you can't take notes, all you have to do is remember, go to exactlyhow.com. Easy to remember. If you want to know how to do something, exactly how do I do it? Exactlyhow.com. And go ahead and download the blueprints, get your free gifts. Every show comes with a great free gift. If you just went to exactlyhow.com and just grabbed all the free gifts, you would, you'd be moving forward in a great direction. Plus, when you go to exactlyhow.com, you can throw your name in the hat to win our $3,000 software called PIN that has been referred to as the pre-MLS. It's all of the best off-market deals that aren't on the MLS markup machine. We're talking about probate deals, vacant properties, foreclosures, pre-foreclosures, REOs, apartment complexes, anything you need, you can get it with PIN. So if you're watching this YouTube live or Facebook live, go ahead and go there right now, throw your name into the hat. You might be the lucky winner. So I'm really excited for whoever gets to take this home because it's changing so many lives. All right, James, you ready here?
Yeah. Can I sign up for that too? Can I?
Well, all of our show, if you're on this show, we give it to you for free. You just have to give us some feedback.
Yeah. Oh man, it sounds like a great package.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know what's really cool? We're going to talk about probate investing.
Yeah.
We tied free skip traces in with it. So if you see a probate deal, you can press a button and it skip traces everyone who is a part of the property, which is something we're going to talk about here because it's very tough sometimes to figure out who can actually sell the probate property.
Right.
So sometimes our members, they find a probate deal, they hit the skip trace. They're like, this person that I called isn't alive anymore. That's why we have the other people there that show up now as well. So you're calling the brother to figure out kind of where it is, but we're going to talk about all that in just a moment. Before we dive in, can you, James, just define what a probate property means to you?
Okay. Well, probate property just simply means that somebody has died and they've left some form of property as an estate. Okay. Chances are they either died without a will or maybe there is a will, but it's being contested. Okay. So it has to go through what we call the probate process. And so anytime we talk about probate, it's usually, and it's a little gory. Sometimes people get, I don't like the idea of probates because somebody just died. Well, you have to look at it from the perspective of you're actually helping them, meaning the family.
Totally. Yeah. After someone passes away, the real first order of business is you got to sell the house now. And if you can make that transition easy for them, you could really solve a big problem. And with the aging population of the baby boomers, probates are just going to be flooding out like crazy. So this is a great, that's why I was so excited to get you on. I've been waiting for this episode specifically, because this is a very timely topic with everything that's happening here. Now, let me ask a clarifying question. Let's say I pass away, right? I get on my skateboard, bam, break my neck. Please don't happen. Anyway,
yes. You're too young.
Yeah. My wife, if one person dies and there's a spouse, is that considered a probate lead?
Yes, many times, because why is the house being sold in the first place? For liquidity to satisfy debts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if one spouse dies, are they going to be able to swing the mortgage? Are they going to be able to swing the other assets that may be part of the marriage? A lot of times, no. So a lot of times what you'll find as we talk more in depth here is a lot of times it's even a nursing home situation where the husband or the wife is in the nursing home. the other spouse is still at home trying to keep everything afloat, and then they pass away in the nursing home, and then what do we do with mama? What do we do with daddy?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's, it's one of those things that everyone goes through.
Yes.
Right.
Part of life.
Yeah, exactly. Death and taxes.
Yeah, exactly.
So
you're not going to get away from them.
Yeah, and we have some other episodes of Exactly How that show you how to pay less taxes. And we have some
Yes.
other episodes of Exactly How that show you how to prolong your life through fantastic diets for real estate investors. So we're helping you on all fronts here. But
yeah, I'll have to watch that episode.
Yeah, the best diet for a real estate investor. Check that out. I used to be 400 pounds, and no, I'm just kidding. But here we go. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. People want to know about probate. So James, before we started, and everyone that's watching, we broke this down into 3 main steps. The mindset, not what you think. You're really going to enjoy this. Number 2, who you're actually dealing with. And then number 3, negotiating the deal. So we're going to jump into this. We're going to start with the mindset first. But before we do, I want to let everyone know, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit the description button of the YouTube video. I have that thing stacked with so many free gifts and free giveaways, one of which is my book right here, The Insider's Guide to Funding Investment Real Estate. This thing is it wasn't one of those self-published books. I got paid a lot of money to write this book because our company, privatelenders.com, facilitates billions of dollars of capital every month. So a publisher reached out to me and said, hey, Ross, will you please write the book on it? We did. I have the ability to give a handful of these away for free. In the description, you can go ahead and download this book. Don't leave this episode without getting your hands on this. Okay, because you're going to need this when you find those probate deals. All right, unless you just want to wholesale them, which we'll talk about toward the end of the episode here. All right, let's talk about mindset. Number 1, take me away.
All right, mindset is very important, and it's probably not what you're thinking. When you deal with probate, there's very few investors that will tread into probate for the reasons that we discussed earlier about it's kind of gory. Usually where you see people that are tiptoe into probates are the realtors because they want to get the listing. Okay, so us investors that actually pull the trigger and look for probate investing, it's very little competition. Okay, and the reason why I say that is because of the mindset. People don't want to deal with people that are grieving. They don't want to be brought down. Everybody wants to stay positive and everything. And a lot of these probates can be contentious. There's more than one person sometimes involved in it. So a lot of people say, no, I'd rather go off and do a lease option. I'd rather go off and do, a flip or whatever. But I'm telling you, if you do, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. So you got to get your head in the game. You have to understand that you're coming from a position of helping people, because the reason why they're selling that house is they have to become liquid to satisfy the debts within the probate. So you're really helping people. It's truly one of those times that you can really say, I did something really good today.
Yeah, and you get to make good money doing so. So this is where you can do good and make a lot of money, which is what's fantastic. And being in the position that you're in here with all the training you have at Connected Investors and the guests that we bring on like this, it's a real opportunity to reach out to people that need you to get this done. Actually, as a matter of fact, this is my house that I live in. Maybe I'll have my people bring in some photos of it. You can get all sorts of different houses. You can find your dream house through a probate investment, right? Through the probate list. So if you're savvy and you're just looking for your house to live in, I had a very difficult challenge because I had to be able to find a property that was both a good investment and one that my wife liked. Very, very, she has very particular taste. She's an artist. She needs the house to feel right and the whole 9, right? Finally did through a probate deal. But the crazy thing is, the people that sold us the house, they've become like my daughter's second aunt. Like we got along with them. They come over for Christmas. They like to come to the house. They're our friends now.
Nice.
So it's a really interesting relationship that's developed from that because there's some sentimental value there. Their dad lived there. When they had that house, they let it sit vacant for 4 years before they sold it.
Wow.
And so, inside pin in our software, if you see a house that's been vacant for a few years, it's just a matter of time before that house gets sold. Sometimes probate, they might not want to talk to you right then. Right. You might have caught them at the wrong time, which we're going to talk through here. Yeah. But it's, it will happen. And it's, there's a great opportunity here. So after someone has the right mindset, right? They're like, okay, I understand, how to talk to someone. One thing that I learned when I started sending direct mail out to probate is never pretend like you understand how the person feels. Saying, I know how you feel.
Right.
I got that thrown down my throat. You have no idea how I feel. I'm like, okay. So when we start talking about the negotiating and depending on who you're talking to, plays a big role in how you have empathy and how you really position yourself here. So you got your mindset right. Now let's talk about all the different people that you could potentially talk to.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, there's a couple different players in probate. You could be talking to what's called the personal representative, also referred to as the PR. Many states now have taken the legalese out of the process. Before, back in the day when I went to law school, you call them executors and executrixes if you were a female. But now, most states say, hey, we really need to get a lot of this legal jargon out of here and make it simple so people understand it. So the personal representative is really the one where the buck stops, meaning they're the executor of the estate. Okay, the probate attorneys take their marching orders from the PRs. There can be multiple PRs, but generally there's just one. Okay, so you could be making contact with the personal representative. The other person you could be making contact with is actually the probate attorney. Now, talking to probate attorneys is like talking to a wall because they deflect a lot, because they always have to go back to the PR, or they make it sound like it's, such a drawn out process. Well, I'm going to have to go to the court, and I'm going to have to go during motion day, make a motion before the judge and see if the judge will entertain this or that. But none of that's true. And that's why it's very, very important that you understand the probate process, because if you don't, and you just buy, an ebook on Amazon and you say, hey, I got this, you're going to get frustrated within the first 10 minutes of actually talking to somebody. So you really have to know the process. But those are generally the two people that you're going to speak to, either the PR or the probate attorney. You're not really going to have any contact with the court or the magistrate that works underneath the probate judge. So you're really not going to have to go in for court appearances and so forth. So those are really the two people that you need to really keep your eye on.
Yeah, I'm actually working a probate deal right now, and it's challenging because maybe this isn't considered probate because it's already been distributed to like 5 brothers. And I'm trying to negotiate with this one who's always like, I got to talk to my other brothers. And is that kind of common when multiple people inherit the property?
Well, usually when I make contact with a personal representative, that's one of the questions that I ask is, are you the sole authority here? Do you make, the buck stops with you, or is there other people that you have to confer with? Because if it's other people they want to confer with, I want to talk with all of them at the same time.
At the same time.
Yeah. I don't want to sit there and piecemeal everything and then say, well, I got to go talk to broke Uncle Bob. No, I don't want to wait around for that. I want to know who the players are right off the beginning, right off the start, I should say. And that's why I tell you that's one of the first questions that I ask is, okay, who are the players involved here?
Well, that's where I've been messing up with this deal. I'm passively kind of working on it. It's next to one of my other investment properties, and I saw it go vacant. So I used the PIN software, pressed the button, called the guy up. Turns out he inherited it. And I've just been, but I need to go. I just need to go out and pull people together and say, hey, let's get everyone on the phone. There's nothing worse than a slow no. Right. I don't want to know yes or no. Can this deal happen? So,
but here's the thing real quick. No today doesn't mean no tomorrow. I've had people that I've picked up the phone with, and a month, 2 months later, they call me back up and ask me if I'm still interested. I thought the deal was dead.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to keep that in the back of your mind, because they say no now doesn't mean it's going to be no tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, before we move to the third step, negotiating, which is really important, I have to announce the winner of the PIN software. This person went to exactlyhow.com. They threw their name to the hat, and they've been commenting on our videos. We reward the people that engage with us. And we're so excited to give this away because this based on the comments, this person's really going to enjoy this. So this is going out to the winner of the $3,000 PIN software is...
Looking for a private money partner to fund your flips or rentals? Go direct to the source. PrivateLenders.com, a free marketplace that instantly matches you with up to 5 private money lenders to save thousands by having non-bank lenders compete to be your funding partner. PrivateLenders.com.
The winner of the $3,000 pin software is Jeremy Roberts. Jeremy, congratulations.
Nice. Congratulations.
Our team will be reaching out to you, getting you all set up, showing you how to use it. We'll show you how to find the probate deals first, if that's what you're interested in. If you threw your name into the hat and you didn't win, don't worry. Sometimes we'll do something special for you guys, giving you access at a discount or something special. We like to reward the people that engage with us one way or another. So, all right, let's move to number 3, which is negotiating. Take it away.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to give a helpful tip that I use. I'm not a big fan of direct marketing, sending out letters to people, because I found over the years that it's very low response rate. If you get 1% in direct mail, you're a rock star.
Yeah.
It does cost some money. What I usually like to do is I usually like to meet with people eyeball to eyeball and belly to belly if possible. A lot of times I'll go out and look at a house before I even make contact with anybody. Mm-hmm. And what I usually do, is so I know that I get right to the decision maker, is everybody has yellow Post-it notes, right? They've seen those, right? They've been around for ages. What I do is I call this my Star Trek Vulcan mind switch, okay? I don't use door hangers. Please call me. I want to buy your house. I don't do any of that. What I do is I just take a simple Post-it note and I put, please call Jim. And I'll put my cell phone number and I'll stick it on the door. What's going to happen? Well, first of all, I'm not doing what everybody else is doing. Second of all, when somebody sees that, it piques their interest because they're like, who the heck is Jim? So they're going to call me. Okay, so when I do that kind of a technique, I get about an 80% callback rate, and it's usually the person that the buck stops with.
Please call Jim.
Yep, please call Jim. That's it. No explanation, no form letters, no packages, no brochures, no nothing. Just a simple Post-it note, and it works very, very well because you pique people's attention. Who the heck is Jim?
And guys, listen, for those of you, a lot of people on the line here, they love to kind of like automate things, right? So yeah, keep some Post-it notes in your car when you're out there driving. Just please call so-and-so. But this is also something you can pay people to go put these on people's doors.
Absolutely.
Put it on the door and take a picture. I'll give you $10. There you go. Move on.
Absolutely. The last thing I'll say about that too is
driver a list.
Yeah, I'm not against direct marketing, meaning I use it as a last resort. If I can't get a hold of anybody and I can't make any headway, I'll send the traditional letter out. Okay, so I don't want people to think I'm anti anything because I'm not. I want to do what works because, time is money and deals are money. Yeah. Okay, so getting back to the negotiating thing, I just wanted to throw that quick thing in for your viewers, is that there's a certain way you have to negotiate, especially if you're dealing with attorneys, because attorneys, there's an old saying in probate, the only ones that win in probate are the attorneys, because, it's called billable hours. Anytime they pick up the phone with their clients, so that in actuality, they want the probate to go as long as possible. That way, they make bank. And again, a lot of people say, well, I know some good lawyers. Yeah, I know a lot of good lawyers too, but it's just the nature of the beast. Okay, so when you're talking to attorneys, you want to make sure that you're professional, you're concise, you have your facts, okay? Attorneys deal in facts. If you're sitting there and you're muddling all over the place. And,
hey, was that your phone ringing?
No.
Oh, I thought the please call Jim worked.
Yeah, somebody called me already. Look at that. No, I don't think it was, at least.
No, I thought I heard something going. I just thought it was tied together. Sorry to interrupt.
No, because I shut it off before we started. So I don't know. Maybe AARP calling me. I don't know, because you dated me already. But you want to make sure that the attorney doesn't see you fumbling over your notes or you have half information, because they look at it as their time is valuable. So you want to get to the point as quick as possible. I usually tell people you should really shoot for 5 minutes or less with an attorney. They'll respect that, and you'll see that goes miles and miles with them. Yeah. As far as negotiating with a PR, what you alluded to earlier about it's a touchy subject. It's either their father or maybe it's a spouse or whatever that just passed away and everything. So, don't overdo it. You can express your condolences, but don't overdo it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just say, well, you know what, I'm an investor. I'm here to try to help in this situation here. I know that you have this property and you need to go ahead and get rid of it. I'll be more than happy to work with you best I can. And then you really throw the ball in their court. You ask them, well, so what are you looking for out of this? Not necessarily you're looking for a price, but what would you like to see happen here? You give them the control. Because most investors will go in there, and they'll pull out their briefcase and they have 100 pages of contracts and everything. Just sign here, just sign there. And you're going to scare people away. They're going to run away like a scalded dog. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you need to give them the power and say, well, what would you really like to see happen here? And most people will open up to you. Then they'll say, well, this is very sentimental. Like you said, I grew up here. My parents lived here for 50 years. We want to see it go to a good family or whatever. I know you're an investor, and they may say, oh, what do you envision? So you have that respectful dialogue that goes back and forth. And that's what you really need to do and negotiate. Now, when it comes to price, of course, they're going to be shooting for the stars, because they're emotionally involved in the property. So, you may look around and say this house should be better in Better Homes and Dumpsters, but they may think it's the Taj Mahal. So what I do when I negotiate with people is I'll sit there and I'll throw it back on them, and I'll say, I say, well, that's very interesting. Let's use a number of $250,000. I'll ask them, well, how'd you come up with that number? And, usually they just pulled it.
That number.
Yeah.
That is a great little golden nugget here. And whenever we write the blueprint out, we'll make sure to pull that piece out. But that is such a valuable, little tidbit there, because you can start to understand their thinking, and then you can direct the conversation.
Right. And then you can even direct it even further when they say, well, I had a friend of mine that had a house similar to this and everything, and say, well, oh, I was just wondering if you got that off the escrow rolls, or if you got that off the town or the city as how they assess, or how you came up with that number. Yeah. So you can really pinpoint it down to, and say, well, I guess you really don't know. So would it make sense if we maybe put our heads together and you do some investigatory work, I'll do a little research myself, and then we'll come back and we'll crunch some numbers together and see if we can make this work. So you always have to be accommodating to them, because like I said, they're in an emotional state. And many times, you're going to either be in just before the realtor comes in, or just after multiple realtors have come in to make their pitch.
Well, if they have the PIN software, they'll be the first one.
Exactly. Exactly.
Talk to them.
Exactly.
No, that's really valuable information here. And actually, I have to ask you an important question. Because when I first introduced you, we talked about doing 100 deals in a month. I know people are thinking, did like a whole half of a city block just die? And you went in there and just probated all of them, like after some tragedy here? Or do you want to give us some context to how you did 100 deals in a month?
Sure. Well, we got this great thing called the World Wide Web. When I first got started in investing in real estate, you hit the nail on the head when you said you had to do a lot of legwork. Mm-hmm. There wasn't a lot of this stuff. I mean, you basically lived in your car a lot of the times and on the phone. Yeah. But what I ended up doing, just for full disclosure, a lot of those deals were wholesale deals. About 12 to 15 were lease options, and then the rest were just basically buy and flip.
Yeah.
But
so,
what I end. Go ahead.
How big of a team did you have to do 100 deals in a month? Was it just
okay? Well, I love virtual. I love virtual people. Okay, so I had probably, and I still have, no more than 5 people. Okay, I have no more than 5 people that do my legwork for me. I got basically a soccer mom that's just looking for something to do when the kids are in school, because she's like, I can't get any job that will facilitate the hours of my kids. So I have one, she's really my right-hand person that I go to with my probate deals. And the other 4 people are virtual people. So, I don't just do deals in Massachusetts or Florida. I mean, I do them all up the East Coast, because this is, like you pointed out earlier, We got all this great technology, and a lot of times you can just close a deal right on the phone if you know what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. So once you get this thing going, you can do 100 deals in a month. And a lot of people on the line here are actively doing 10, 15 deals a year. Whenever we surveyed our members, they're doing about a deal a month on average. Some people are just getting ready for that first deal. So
Right.
let me ask you a question. What would you tell someone who's kind of on the fence? They think they want to invest in real estate. They're not really sure. They start and stop all the time. They got a job. They get busy. Give them some advice so they can get in the other side of the monopoly board, right? Because you're either, paying the rent or you're getting the rent, and you got to get to the other side. So, well, what would you tell someone who is just kind of wishy-washy about it?
Well, first of all, whether we're in a booming economy like we are now, or we're in a recession or whatever, you have to create your own individual economy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Don't be listening to all the talking heads out there telling you should do this, you should do that. There's basically three things that stand the test of time. First of all, in order to be successful financially, you have to be involved in real estate to some extent. Second thing is you got to be involved in the stock market to some extent. Okay, whether that's dividend stocks, selling options, whatever the case may be. And the third thing is that you need, I said real estate. You have to have a small business, of course, whatever that may be. And, now is a great time. I tell people all the time, you got 15-year-olds that are in their basement of their home. They're multimillionaires now because of the internet. You've got to be involved in those three things. But you know what? If you sit back and you have analysis paralysis and you sit back and you say, I don't know if I want to do, I'm telling you, just go for it.
Yeah.
Just go for it. After your first deal, they become easier.
Yeah. Yeah. They say making your first million is the toughest. So just make two.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'll provide some context there. If you're a real estate investor, your business being a real estate investment business, there's a great business. You're flipping real estate. You have real estate. You flip some, you hold some. And then for those of you who are scared of the stock market, you could always do crowdfunding for real estate. There's a lot of portals out there that I personally use, or you can buy into different REITs and stuff like that. So if you want to kind of stay in the real estate lane, you could do that. But that's some really good insight there. So
that wasn't me.
Yeah, no, thanks for that. Now we have these. If you're watching this on YouTube, you see this is the Connected Investors headquarters here. We have these shiny floors, and they squeak, but they're great for skating. Our people just skate back and forth here. It's a really fun time. Actually, we're holding an event here shortly. We're going to invite everyone to Connected Investors. It's going to be great. But listen, guys, if you haven't yet got the book, in the YouTube description, check out the stuff in the YouTube description. The link to this book will also take you to a page where there's actually way more than just this book. There's another book that I wrote, Your Rise to Real Estate Royalty. It gives you my whole story on how I started 19 years old with absolutely nothing. And I was actually a dumpster diver. I would drive from dumpster to dumpster and pick scrap padding out of dumpsters and bring it back to a warehouse and recycle it. And something had to change, found real estate, and haven't looked back since. But my whole journey is documented in that book, and actually this book is there as well. So go to YouTube, subscribe to our show here, and make sure to grab some of these free gifts, because there's tons of value in there. That book took me 10 years to write, so I don't think I'll ever put that much effort in anything ever again, other than the software here at Connected Investors, which I've been doing for 15 years. So there we go. Well, great. Let me ask you a really important question here, perhaps the most important question. What do you think your life would be like if you never decided to get into real estate and we're still, an accountant or a lawyer?
Right. Well, the truth be told, when I got out of the Air Force and I had my law degree and everything, I really didn't want to practice law. It just didn't do anything for me. I didn't want to sue people for a living.
Yeah.
So I actually went and became a paramedic. That I had the training in the Air Force and so forth. I really loved that, but it didn't pay the bills. And I'm afraid that if I didn't make the step and get into real estate, don't get me wrong, it's an admirable profession, firefighter, paramedic. You know what? They're the salt of the earth. If I could get back into it as a hobby, or giving back, I would, but it just doesn't pay the bills. So I would think that I would probably either still be an active firefighter paramedic, or I'd be getting ready to retire, and I'd be thinking about, okay, what am I going to do for a second job now that I'm retired? But real estate has afforded me the opportunity to be able to, I mean, if I were to say today, hey, Ross, you know what? I'm folding up business. I'm done. I'd be set for life, because I mean, I got some income properties and so forth. So I'd be set for life. But you know what? Since I've been involved in real estate and investing, it's fun. I don't want to retire. I don't think I'll ever retire, to tell you the truth. I may slow down a little bit to do some fishing because I love fishing, but you know what? It's just one of those things when you get into it and you see, you know, the kind of bang you're getting for your buck, so to speak, as far as what you're putting forward. Instead of making somebody else rich, you're making yourself rich. So, I mean, you'll catch the bug. You caught the bug. I mean, listen to yours. I was just listening to your story, 19 years old. You caught the bug and you haven't looked back. So, I mean, I would encourage people out there that are still on the fence, like you said, and they don't know, pull the trigger. I'm telling you, you won't regret it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and I used to have this false belief that, oh, I just want a few properties and I'll have this much money coming in. I'll have $20,000 a month coming in, and then I'll just sit back on the beach and just do nothing. Really,
No.
you know, being idle to me is actually a punishment.
Right.
I love finding challenges and pushing through them. That's how you grow as a person. Wherever you have a challenge in your life, that is not a problem. That is a sign saying that's the way you should go. Go push through that, solve that. The other side of it is the next step, which is the next challenge. So if you can find joy in overcoming challenges and exercising your virtues when things get tough, right? That's when you find this life that looks like it just kind of goes up. Right? Because there's always going to be challenges. And, you know, with each new challenge, there's a lot of opportunity that comes with it. There's the seed of opportunity. So when something's tough that hits you, right? Maybe you're going through something tough right now. Ask yourself, how can I make this the best thing that ever happened to me?
Yep.
Right. And it changes how you think. And all of a sudden you're like, well, so that's been a real kind of, you know, eye opener for me. And I just want to share that with you as you kind of shared that story. So thanks. I appreciate that. All right. Let's get into the rapid fire section of this podcast. Are you ready?
Okay. I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. All right. I'm going to stand up for you here. All right.
All right.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how strict were your parents?
10 plus.
Get up early or stay up late?
Stay up late.
How many hours of sleep do you get?
5.
Favorite or most recent book that you read?
Book of Proverbs, actually. Yeah.
If you could be any superhero, who would it be?
Iron Man.
Something everyone should do less of?
Sleep.
Something everyone should do more of?
Enjoy people around them.
Bitcoin, bang or bust?
Bust.
Will people visit Mars in your lifetime?
Boy, that's a coin flip. Yes.
All right. A lot of progression there. Actually, Elon Musk is selling one-way tickets to Mars.
Right. Yeah, that's what I heard. I don't know if I'm for the Space Force, but you know, part of the Air Force, the Space Force now, but I don't know. I'll wait till they work out all the bugs.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's only a matter of time.
Exactly.
I mean, we're going that direction one way or another, whether it's today or
right.
tomorrow. Well, hey, thanks again for sharing, you know, everything when it comes to probate investing.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah. Well, great. For everyone who is still with us, congratulations. You made it to the end of the show, which means you actually finish what you start. That is a fantastic trait to any success in life. What we need you to do is you obviously found some value. So go ahead and subscribe to YouTube. If you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, we have more great information coming every single week. You don't want to miss any of it. Millions of people follow Connected Investors and take part in this. And also comment, give us a like. The comments go right to my phone. So I will see your comments. Make sure to check out the YouTube description. And if you haven't yet signed up to connectedinvestors.com, make sure to do so. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to give you a little preview of our app that allows you to find investors, private lenders, and deals all with your cell phone. That's the direction that things are going when it comes to real estate. So thanks again for being part of the Exactly How podcast and YouTube show. I'll see you on the next one.
The Connected Investors app connects you with investors, notifies you of available properties, helps locate cash buyers and secure private funding to close deals. Set up in seconds to become a member of the Connected Investors social network. Now you can scroll through your main feed to find cash buyers, see investment properties not available to the general public, and network with investors by adding your own comments to a thread to keep the conversation going. The Control Center is your connection to add properties to sell, start new discussions, connect with local investors, and even find private funding. The Notifications tab will keep you alerted to new investment properties and offers. You'll also find new friend requests to connect directly with the community to build your network. From the property marketplace, you'll be able to find, favorite, and make offers on investment properties. Download Connected Investors today to find, figure, fund, and flip investment properties on the go.